Hi, I'm Mike Stringer, and welcome to my office, my RV, my Jayco RV, where my new podcast, Mike Stringer Take One, takes place. It all happens here. There's no fancy hookups, there's no fancy recording devices besides the computer and this, but it's going to be an audio podcast with a camera to back in to see it. I've taken this idea from people like Clay and Buck on the Clay and Buck show. They have a radio show, very successful one. Hats off to those guys for what they do with having to fill Rush Limbaugh's shoes. And and Rush Limbaugh is the reason I think we're all here and able to have a voice nowadays. Rush was the pioneer. But anyway, my name is Mike Stringer, and I'm going to take off with this new idea called Take One. And there's reasons I have for that, because I hate editing. I hate it. I really do. I remember going back to my days, and I'll tell a little bit about myself as we go along here, but my career in any type of broadcasting started on exactly January the 1st, 1980. The beginning of a new decade. We're going from the 70s into the 80s. Reagan had not become president yet. We were still in a horrible situation with Carter. And I decided I flunked out of A&M because I played the piano too much. That's something else I do. I am a pianist. Got degrees in it now. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I started my radio career in 1980, and they give you 2 hours a day. You go into the production room either before your shift or after, and you cut what they call spots. People out in the world, they know them as radio, as commercials. And you'd be going to look at your basket. Some days you may not have anything. Some days you may have 40. And you're thinking, man, I may just start timing this not to do it when I get off work, do it before I go on the air. But then, you're living and you learn. And so I was in the business there, and we get to the production room, and it was all analog. There was no digital. There were no computers, iPads, these kind of mics even. But it was a good studio, and we recorded on regular tape. Well, what happens when you need to just leave a word out? I mean, go back and redo the whole thing? Or do you, what they call, edit it? And in those days, editing meant taking the tape and actually, like, laying it out, and you figure out exactly, and you stop it right where we think it was on that recorder, and you mark it with a little marker, take the tape off, lay it on a flat, like a silver thing that's just right after the tape, and then you take a razor blade. I'm serious, one-sided razor blade, and you slice it open right there, and then you tape it back together. And I watch people like Robert Tyndall, Sean Stevens, these guys at KLUF Radio in Lufkin, where I got one of my starts. I watched them do these things, and I was going, wow, they can do it. And I tried it, I couldn't do it. So back to the question, you do a 30-second commercial, and it's all perfect, except you need one word changed. You've messed up on one word, which is easier to go back and edit. Well, for those guys, it's editing. For me, it's easier to go back and just do the commercial. In other words, get it right. It's easier than editing. And that started my editing. Now, editing's gotten easier because we got iPhone, we've got GarageBand, you've got all these editing apps. You can take take a picture now and literally take someone out of the background. There's so many things we can do, and especially with AI taking over. But still, I wanted something authentic. I just want a place to have my voice and put it on YouTube and go from there and just see how far this goes. And so Mike Stringer Take One is going to be happening out of Houston, Texas, wherever I'm at for the time being. Right now in Sugar Land, Texas, south of Houston. I'm living in the USA RV Park here at Crab River Road outside of Houston, outside of Sugar Land, sort of in between Sugar Land and Richmond, Texas, if that helps anyone. But I'm out here for the time being. I'm going to probably move up to the north side of Houston shortly because my parents, who live in Lufkin, are getting up in years, and I want to be there for them. And by the way, tomorrow, shouts out to my mom and dad. 91 years old. They will celebrate 70 years of marital bliss. And I've been a fortunate man to have them all my life, even in my old age of 67. But here's, it's one of those things. They were there. They've always been there for me, still are. And I want to always be there for them. They are the most wonderful parents a man could ask for. And so I say all that. I'm bragging a lot. The next thing I want to do is do a shout out. I'm wearing my hat today, but you'll see it. It's to Michael Mallory. Michael Mallory has been the guy that does my hair. And yes, for those that don't know, I have a full head of hair. I'll show you real quick. See, it's just not combed real good this morning. And so Michael Mallory, he's over there at 1801 South Dairy, Ashford. If you want his number, leave a comment to me in the below section at the end of this thing, and I will be glad to send out Michael Mallory's info. As I think he's not just a hair salon guy; he's an artist. You see his photography work. He's got an eye for what looks good, and whether it's cutting hair, taking a picture, whatever, who cuts the hair? Who cuts the hair? The scissors, the camera? No, the person does. Who takes the great picture? Is it the Nikon camera, or is it the Canon camera, or the iPhone 16, or is it the human being behind holding the instruments that takes the picture? It's the human, always. And AI will never replace. It may replace a lot of jobs. It may replace a lot of things, but it can't replace us because we invented it. But anyway, why do I want to do this? I like the fact that there's no producers there. There's no corporate policy. I don't have a pie chart saying you got to talk about the weather at 10 after and you got to do the news at the bottom of the hour. No, I don't have all those things. No producers, no corporate policy, no nothing. Just me, the microphone, and the truth. And and the why. I wanted to show my trailer. Show this is pretty cool. You can do this in. And I'll be from a time zone. I'll pick it up and walk around. And I did that with AI. Gemini is really good getting you started on doing something like this. And I showed Gemini my messy kitchen, and I said I need to clean this up, and it said actually don't. I said don't. Why? And so AI came back and said because if you get the trailer too clean, guys out there watching this out of curiosity are going to go, he says he's in a trailer, but that is a perfect set. I mean, he could have a green screen behind him, and it could be all fake. So they said, leave all the mess as it is. Well, we're going to compromise. I'm not going to show my own home where I live and where I'm doing these shows. I'm not going to just up and show a nasty place. If I show you a room, it's a clean one. But I have a bathroom that's behind the camera over here. Behind me over here, where this door shut, go in there. There's my bedroom. Yes, make up your bed every morning. If you do the first things right, if you do the first thing you need to do right, the rest helps fall in place. And then this is where my couch, I got a television over here, television in the bedroom, television outside, and it's a small one, like I say. It's 32 feet. So why did I do this? Well, I've spent a long time watching other people, including myself, play by other people's rules, especially in broadcasting. I'm done with that. This channel is about the real truth, the business that's behind the scenes, and everything that usually gets left under the gutter. So I'm willing to sort of like tell you what I'm willing to talk about, and that's just about anything. I can tell you some of my mentors, and they may not realize it. Number one is Jim McIngvale, Mattress Mac. I've had such a pleasure to work for the man, get fired by the man, for playing the piano. And then he turns right around and 5 seconds later says, now you're rehired. You're no longer a furniture salesman. You're now the new piano player for Gallery Furniture. Oh, my goodness. That was cool. That was cool. And I love Mac so much, and he's a mentor. He's the reason I make up my bed every morning. His suggestion really works, and he's right. It makes things go better. I like the way he does, just the way he handles things. And Mac doesn't know this, but back in the 80s and 90s, when I was doing TV for the family jewelry business, I was your friend in the diamond business. And some people that may be watching this go, hey, I remember that guy. Joyce's Jewelry up in Lufkin and Nacogdoches, all the East Texas area. I covered radio, television, and print, which is the only three forms really you had to go on at that time in direct mail. So I just wanted to say this was also supposed to have been started on Saturday. That was my birthday. This past Saturday. Give me a I am 67 years old. Yes. So I wanted to do a big one, do it on my birthday, maybe even do it live. And I just wasn't ready yet. I just wanted to get it done. My hair wasn't going to be good, or I wasn't going to be shaved or something. Well, I'm not shaved now. And my hair's a mess, so I put this hat on because I was about to walk out the door and go get some bacon anyway. So I decided, why not try this? I was going to launch this because it was on my 67th birthday. So this is really just a little bit late start, but this is starting my 67th year. I started the 1980s, the new decade, with something I'd never done, and that was be on the radio. And that was one of the weirdest nights. I mean, I got the job. It was about December maybe 29th or 30th. I was working downtown Lufkin, Texas, in a construction job. My dad got me over at Lufkin Industries, working for a construction company, building some building, but they hadn't laid the post, the corner post, but they were digging the ditches, the deep ditches. My job was going in there and get the mud out of that ditch. And that ditch was, I'm 6'2", and the big ditch was probably 5 feet deep, so all you could see is my head hanging up. And I'm digging on that mud. It's sort of a damp, 45, 50-degree day, rather. And I keep seeing the neon lights up across the street there in downtown Lufkin kept flashing KRBA, red lights. And I kept looking down going, DITCH, I'm in a ditch, and it's cold, and I can do that job. Now, I had no experience in radio. What made me think I could do that? But I could do that job. I just no problem. So I got the nerve up. I said, what have I got to lose? I knew the man. I never met him, but I knew his owner was Daryl Yates. His son Stephen and I, same age, went to school together. And I knew Stephen worked there, but I never really discussed radio with Stephen. I just walked into the station and saw Mr. Yates. He was probably, I don't know, he might have been 70 years old. I thought he was 170. White hair, been there since 1935 or whatever. I think he started the airwaves. He probably invented radio. I don't know. And I walked in, talked to him, told him who it was, and I told him my experience involved a lot of performing on live with piano, which is true, and my fact that I had been in choir all of my life, and studied choir, which means you study a lot about diction and pronouncing words. And if you guys it's never been in choir, that's what choir people do. And so, being in choir, it made me feel like, in a way, without saying it, I can do the job because I know how to pronounce words correctly and where people can understand them. Now, do I have the personality for this? We'll find out. So he hired me on the spot. He said, I got to give notice to this other job across the street. He said, absolutely, absolutely. I said, but I'd like to start as soon as possible. He goes, how would it feel to start January 1, 1980? Start the decade off. I said, excellent. So I quit that job over there digging the ditches and went home, made my mother cry when I told her I'll be the next Dan Rather in 1 year. What made her cry was she said it scared her because I actually believed it. Whether I did or not, I was just running my mouth. But so I'm going to be on the air. So I remember going over to some guy's house. I think it was Mike Skelton's house, a guy I went to high school with. But I was hanging out for a New Year's Eve thing. I was in the backyard. No drinking, nothing for me. I was doing my, at the time I probably did, but now, and I don't drink now, but I cut everything that night because I knew I had a big deal. I was going to be on the radio at 12. And they'd showed me how to, you got two turntables to hold the records in the radio station. I'd already been given instructions on how to turn one on and just fade out. You can make this other one just start and just segue from song to song. That would be easy enough. And here's the microphone. You turn this switch to the right and turn it up to 5. If the red light goes on outside, it means everybody's got to be dead quiet while you talk. And so I was ready to go. So I get to the station about, half hour early and watch the DJ. And finally, he's an older guy, and he said, now we're going to turn it over to all new Mike Stringer. It's coming on now, starting the new decade, and wishing you a merry, happy new year. And he signed off with about 5 minutes left. He said, it's all yours, and he walked out the door. So I got my records ready. I had 2 records to go on there. I was so excited. And it came to be midnight, and I flipped open the microphone. Now, I'd learned to do the records. I'd learned how to put them on. I learned how to turn on the microphone. I learned how to do the board. But there's only one small thing I forgot when I turned on that microphone. I forgot I had to say something. And now, what's worse than yet, not only did I have to say something, I had to have a system of saying something, and it had to be very consistent. And that's where my friend Sean Stevens, who was working across town at a competitor named KLUF, heard me, and I didn't know what to do. So I said, my name is Mike Stringer. I'm new. I'm trying to think, what am I supposed to say? Happy New Year. It's a brand new year, and I like to sing. If y'all like to sing, I don't have the song, but let's start out by starting the new year off with the Star Spangled Banner. And this goofball, I wish I had a recording of this. This goofball got on the air on an a cappella country and western station at midnight and started, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's? Oh, my goodness gracious, I can't believe I did that. And then I was so proud of myself. I felt like the whole radio world was clapping. They were probably laughing. And then I followed it up with, should old acquaintance be forgot? And I sung that as well. And my voice was probably better that night than it is right now. So that's what I did in radio. And it seemed to be okay because I started getting a following, and it was really good. But that's what it is. So that's the first a little bit about me. The following next shows will show more about me. I'll go back into my childhood and discuss my time of learning piano, which I started at the age of 5. And so been actually playing piano about 60 years plus full. I'll tell about the times that I tore up the piano teacher's house and I was kicked out forever. I'll talk to you about the time that I decided to scream Jeremiah was a bullfrog instead of the original Joy to the World. Shocked the choir director. My dad being the one that encouraged me to pull off an encore. I didn't know what an encore was. So Dad told me. And Dad's not a performer. He's an engineer. There's a lot of things I can say about my life. And then I want to talk about current events, what I'm passionate about, what I want to see happen with our country. I care about our country. And I hope everyone that listens and watches this, that's a United States citizen, you care about the United States. And if whatever country you're from, be proud of where you're from. And talk about what I believe about eternity. The most important subject, I guess, of anything we could all discuss is about what happens after we die. How important is that? If nothing happens, if we're just going to be like the dog Rover, we're dead all over, then it wouldn't be a big deal. But, there's more to it. There's more to life than this. And I don't mind discussing those things. Leave your questions and your comments, and be sure, before you please leave, it's Mike Stringer, take one. Take a moment, and at the bottom of your screen, hit the subscribe button. Send me your comments. Send me your questions. I will do my best to answer everyone. I promise to read everyone. And until I get my email set up, send it just to MikeStringer@iCloud.com. Things are still getting underway, but I said, what the heck? Let's try, record a show, and see how it turns out. Until next time, again, thank you for listening. And until next time, it's Mike Stringer, take one, signing off.